Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. So today we are talking about a Sega clone, and not possibly one of the ones you're thinking of. So we know about the Sega Mini, the official mini console that Sega made for the Megadrive. There's also been a few others, including a few less well thought of ones by certain manufacturers who made kind of handheld devices and home consoles based around the Megadrive and the Master System. But this one is very probably one of the earliest, because it's back in 1983. It kind of dates back from when Sega actually considered licensing the SG-1000 technology to other companies rather than actually making the consoles themselves. An idea that quickly went out the window. So, today we're going to take a look at the Othello Multiview. Right, here it is. The box is a bit beaten up, but it's very old. So, this is the Othello Multiview by Sukada Original. Now, this is, in fact, an SG-1000. Internally, at least, just with some extra tweaks and some changes to the ROM and stuff. It will play SG-1000 games, which we'll try out a bit later. So, let's open this up. And there's the machine. It's a tiny bit yellowed. It's a bit grubby as well. Now, this is, as far as I'm aware, working except for this joystick, which is not quite working either at all or fully. I can't remember which. So we can have a look at that. That's fine. That's probably nothing going to be particularly serious with that. Got a power supply, which we will check to make sure that the values are in the right ranges. What's that? 9 volts, 850 milliamps, center negative. So, quite similar to future Sega power supplies, actually. And, the machine itself. So let's take this out and we'll get rid of this box. So we've got all the instruction leaflets and what's this? Nope, that's part of the cardboard, that's fine. The warranty sleeves and stuff. Ooh, a manual, look at that. Ooh. The crest on there, look at that. Just all fairly obvious. Standard stuff. Right, well let's get rid of the box. Look at that. It even shows on the side using an SG-1000 game. Oh, there you are. Right, so the machine itself, it's pretty light. It's got a joypad port on the side, so we should be able to use that if we can't fix the internal one. Fairly simplistic, all in all. This is the cartridge slot. It's rather than just like a flip-up lid or a spring lid, it's kind of got a rolling mechanism, which is kind of cool. The back, we got our AC, our on-off, an RF cable, and a channel switcher. So, this is RF only. We will look at seeing if we can find a composite mod inside there as well. We do have a solution just to try it out before we got a composite mod. I've got a RF box that should work, and so we'll give that a try. Well, let's power it on now, and we'll see if we can capture some footage from there. If not, we're looking at the screen. Well, there we go. So this is the inbuilt Othello game. Goes with the name of the machine, obviously. The quality is not great of the picture, but that's fine. That's to be expected. So what we'll try and do is we will try to get Lode Runner working. Right, so let's turn off Othello. And let's try putting... it's a little bit stiff, but it goes in. Let's try putting Lode Runner in. And there we go. That's Lode Runner for the SG-1000 running on the Othello Multiview, just to prove it is indeed an SG-1000 clone. Actually, the picture on that is not brilliant still, but better than it was for the actual inbuilt game. Right, anyway, that's working. So we need to take a look at why the joystick isn't working. So let's just try... Oh. Well, turns out the joystick actually apparently is working now. Oh, okay. It's not perfect though. Okay, I see. It's very temperamental, but that's fine. Let's turn this off, and then we will take a look inside. Cool. Tell you what, power supply's quite warm. In fact, it wasn't on very long. May need some looking at. Right, let's unplug everything first. That's the area out of the way. There we go. So let's turn this upside down. Kind of dangle the joystick over the edge there. And we have 4 screws. Alright, what we got? Oh, it's connected via that. Okay, so that's going to be keyboard and joystick. Oh, almost dropped it. Oh, and I can see the problem almost immediately. Okay, so let's go here, and it's going to be hard to show, I think. But basically, that's all connected into this little header, and this little header is moving around like a good one. So I will say that is probably dry solder joints. So let's... I don't want to pull these out because I suspect this is going to be the really horrible single pin thing, which are really hard to get back in. So let's instead unscrew the keyboard from the rest of the frame. Oh, there we go. That's off. Just leaves behind a few of these plastic inserts, including the joystick, which is just on kind of a rocker. Okay, so let's take a little look. Oh, there we go. So we just got carbon rubber mounts. Not the highest quality joystick ever, but you know, it's fine. Alright, so we've got some plastic clips holding this in, and they are feeling quite brittle. There's not much bend left in them, so that's worrying. Just do this gently, there we go. And hopefully we can just lift this out. The voltage regulator has got quite warm, so I do suspect, well, they get warm anyway, but I suspect that the power supply is giving out a little bit too much juice. It's not too grubby in there, a little bit. Do a clean at some point. Right, well, as soon as we're going to be doing some soldering on it anyway, we may as well take a look at some of these capacitors. So let's zoom in. So there we go. So here's our header, which you can see is just moving around quite easily. Take a look at their capacitors. There's nothing wrong there, I don't think. They all look pretty good. Yeah, they all look quite healthy. The one back there, yep. The capacitors are fine. Now we've also got that header there on the modulator. Now we know that the SG-1000 system is able to do composite, so there's a good chance we can tap composite off of there, so we'll have a look at that as well. First of all though, we need to get the soldering iron and take a look at this header. Let's have a look at the back. Yeah, we got a few dry solder joints on the back there. You can kind of, if we move this, yeah, there's a couple that are just moving slightly, and you can see where it's just there's lots solder. There's a difference in the amount of solder on each one as well. So we will solder that in better. Probably put some deoxit in there as well, just to be utterly certain, and that will hopefully fix the controller issue, and we'll give it a bit of a clean as well. We're at it. Right, let's get the soldering iron. Right, so we're just going to apply some solder to it, and we will strain it up. Alright, that's a little better. We'll give it a bit of a clean with ISO. just going to go over some of these pads as well because they're quite grubby. Right. I think that's probably done. Let's take a look at the other side. It's moving quite a bit less than it was before. It's still moving a little bit, but then there's only very thin wires, but it's definitely moving less. So we're good with that. I might just give this a brief brush over. There we go. Right, we'll stick this inside here. Hope we don't break the... There we go, that's good. And let's put this back together. Again, we'll give this a little bit of a clean. This goes in this way. Yeah, and these nice short screws. Put them in loosely. As always, it's the old trick. If you're screwing into plastic, turn it the opposite direction until you hear a click. Like that. And then that means you've got the groove in place and it'll be a lot easier and a lot safer to do up. And also remember, you're not trying to massively tighten these things. They just need to be no movement. So as soon as you find a little bit of pressure, then don't push anymore. Because otherwise you could end up making the plastic crack. There we go. Right, I think one more thing we'll do is we'll just take a little look at what's coming off of this, just to see if we can find a composite signal in there. It's fairly simple to do, really. We have to check though before we try to link anything up, because there has to be at least some voltage going through there to power the modulator, because that's appears to be the only place where wires are going in. So one of those will be probably 5 volts, and we do not want to be putting that places where we don't want it to go. Right, well, I have these, and the ground is just going on the shield there, and that's just going on there. So, right, a small delay as we found out that the original power supply had given up. I'm now using my SG-1000 power supply. It is the same. So let's give this another try. We know that's a ground, so if we turn this on, we get on that one, 1.6 volts, 1.4, there we go, there's our 5 volts. So the third pin from the left is 5 volts, and 2.5 volts there. So that is interesting. It does kind of smack of there being some composite going in there. So, we can connect this over here for ground. There we go. So, touching to the first pin, I get nothing. Second pin. So it's the second pin from the left. We must have just been off it slightly. So, the second pin from the left on the modulator is a composite signal. Awesome. So we just need a good ground point. There we go. Right, you can't see that at all. Right, so this down here is a ground point. So we will just solder something to there. And we know that we are getting ground from this point down here. So let's stick some solder on there. Hopefully it will take it. It's not currently taking it. Come on, you can do it. Right, let's see if we can attach this wire to it. It's not perfect, but it will do. So we will just thread these out of the front. There we go, so we've capped on that down. Now we need to just make sure we're not bridging anything here. Obviously you always want to do that anyway, but it is doubly important when there is a 5-volt rail right next to the composite rail. Seems good. So now that we've got those, coming out, we can do this back up. There we go. Not a perfect picture still, but it's certainly better than the original. Now, does anything work? Well, it appears to. We'll select level 1 to 8. Just do 1, and I will be. Oh, stars there, so we'll do that. Right. Oh, you don't really use the joystick in this one, but this doesn't really help. Alright, let's put Lode Runner back in and see what we get there. In fact, Star Force was closer to me, so I went for that instead. So let's power that on. Here we go, Star Force. Right, well, the joystick is working. The composite mod is doing a surprisingly good job, actually, considering how hokey this whole thing is. When it's done properly, and I've put in a bit of a resistor in there to help with attenuation, although, you know what, it doesn't look so bad, I will say. And obviously we have to work sound out as well. But you know what, that's not bad. Not bad at all. I'm quite happy with that. Right, well, I think we should just do a summary then. And there we go, the Othello Multiview, an SG-1000 clone, and it works. And we've got a composite mod, although still work in progress, obviously. We can do that now. The picture's quite good, considering it's connecting via some jumper cables. And I think we can get that picture looking even better when we do a proper mod and properly connect it up and get the sound out of it as well. I'm pretty sure the sound will be on that thing, because otherwise you'll get it out the RF. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It's a wonderful little system. It's an amazing thing, and the inbuilt joystick works now, and it's not terrible. I mean, it's not the greatest, it's not terrible. We do have the option of plugging SG-1000 joypad into the side as well, which is great. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit like. If you really like the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video, or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. And don't forget, you can join our membership to get early access to videos and also exclusive videos, or Patreon for the same thing as well. And don't forget, hit the bell icon to be told all new videos come out. See you next time.
The present is horrible, the future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting re-enthused. We all know that our pasts were great, escaping the things that today we hate. Getting re-enthused